Good afternoon, everyone. We're glad that you're here once again. This is Gerard Moultrie with Fab News, and I am excited tonight because I have two wonderful guests in the back studio with me who's waiting to come on, and we're going to bring them on. And I'm telling you, you're in for a treat tonight. We have two powerful guys with us from Georgetown NAACP branch, and they're going to be talking to us tonight. And I am going to bring President Neal on, who is going to be here with us tonight. And so President Neal is on, and I'm going to bring Brother Dante in, and we're just going to have a conversation tonight, and we're going to talk. If I may, I want to allow you guys to introduce yourselves, starting with you, Mr. Neal.
Good evening. Thanks a lot for bringing me on, Pastor Woody. Federal court with dealing with this stuff, first six districts. Please excuse us. I'm glad to with you tonight. I'm Marvin Neal. Branch. I'm the third vice president for the South Carolina Conference. We do tremendous work. I just want to say thank you for bringing on. We
Well, I think we lost him, Brother Dante. I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself, and maybe he will come back in.
Yeah, he was coming in a little broken up, sounding like a transformer or something, calling all Autobots. My name is Deontay Winchester, and I appreciate you for allowing me on the platform there, Pastor Moultrie. But I am first vice president of Georgetown NAACP 5520, as well as the youth advisor for our Georgetown youth branch over there. So I'm happy to be here today. I'm happy to ask any questions that your viewers may have, and I'm happy to go ahead and talk a little bit about the reason for the season, the reason why we're here to bless your viewers with our event that we promoting right now.
Okay. Well, maybe we can, Mr. Neal, you're back. Maybe we can get a better reception this time.
Oh yeah, I'm back. Hopefully we can. So that's me or you.
We still can't hear you. You're breaking up for some reason, like really bad.
Okay, let me see what I can do. Could you hear me now?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay. Okay, I'm back. So we good?
Yes, we good. We can hear you. So can you tell us about yourself and who you are?
I'm the Georgetown NAACP. I'm also the third vice president for the South Carolina Conference NAACP, South Carolina Conference NAACP. I am also working with the doing some collaboration with the United Way and with the 70 Mention, and also partnering with the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce. And I guess we'll touch on some more of that tonight and stuff, but that's who I am. We just do a lot of community outreach and do what we can to help people and stuff. Civil, we work pretty much with civil disobedience.
Okay. So I don't know which one of you guys want to tackle it, but I'm hearing that there is some great things going on in Georgetown, and I'm kind of jealous because I don't sing. So you guys would want to get something together with sing. You couldn't do tap dancing or playing the violin or something that I could really be a part of. Tell us about that, man. I'm not mad at y'all. Y'all just don't want to hear me sing, but I still might come anyway. You might need some earplugs when I get the mic, but
Well, one thing we're not gonna make preaching a part of the competition and stuff, because I know ain't a whole lot of competition out there for that with you and stuff. You might be a little bit over the age limit. There's from 17 to 40 to enter, so I know you have some folks that can step in there. I've heard some of the singers that at the last event here in Georgetown. I mean, great singers, and they're invited to come down and stuff. They were right in that age group, so especially that young lady that you had there leading that praise and worship. She was off the chain.
She'll be there.
I'm gonna let Deontay tell you about it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about tell the viewers about.
Well,
I'm gonna introduce you to the concept is to get voters out age 17 to 40. That's the intent, and get them to register to vote. Not only register to vote, because we have a city election coming up following this election, but actually getting them to vote early in this election so we could get this money in the bank, make sure everybody is voting, because voting is a serious right that we sometimes we overlook and don't take advantage of. But that's why our strength is in the vote. Our voice is in the vote. And I'm gonna let Deontay talk to you some about it and stuff. And I'll talk to you some more of what we're doing in Georgetown from the voting perspectives. Boots on the ground, stuff of that nature.
Okay.
There's definitely so much power in the vote, and that was our motivation for going ahead and putting together this event in collaboration with the League of Women Voters. And what it is actually it's called the Showtime at Howard, and it's themed after Showtime at the Apollo. It's going to be October 29th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And as Pastor Mutri has alluded to, it's going to be a talent show. Not necessarily for singers, but you can sing, you can act, you can tap dance if you want to. Ooh, hey, come on and bring it. Hey, you can do a little comedy bit. All we ask is that you keep it clean. Okay. Whatever talent you may have, we ask you to come on through with it. Top prize is going to be $500. First runner up is going to get $200. And then we've got $100 for the second runner up. And we also have we're going to be doing drawings for $25 gift cards. Some will be Amazon, some will be the gas cards and all kind of different things. If you bring your I voted sticker with you, you'll be entered into that drawing. The Emcee of the event is going to be a good brother that does a lot in the community with us, Mr. Cleveland Milton. And if you've ever been to one of his events, he's a very good DJ, very good entertainer. So this is going to be a good time. We ask that you come out and support if you can. If you think you got a talent, come on and enter. We ain't got a Sandman, and I ain't got no hook, but if you mess up, I might have to kick you off the stage.
Well, you can let me be Sandman since I can't sing.
It won't look right, the preacher kicking somebody off the stage.
The preacher won't. Oh, all right then. All right. Well, they kick them out. Hey, they kick them out of church if they don't pay tithes.
Man. That's another thing.
So I just want to talk. I hear you guys are you gearing up, man, to getting vote out. And I express all the time, and maybe you guys can help me understand a little better, or maybe help my viewers understand a little better the importance of voting, number one. And not only just voting, but the importance of it starts on the local level. And they don't understand the importance of the delegates that select the president. So it starts from the lower level to get to the state level to end up in the Washington, D.C. So if you guys you guys are the, I don't know what the car you are, but I would say the voters, guys, man, who understand this thing. And if you will just give the people a backdrop, the importance in how this local election will affect this presidential election.
I'm going to go ahead and throw this alley-oop, and I'm going to let Mr. Neal go ahead and dunk it. Right now, I have on a shirt that says, "Get into trouble, good trouble." And that was a quote, famous quote by our late Congressman, John Lewis. And if you know anything about John Lewis, you'll know that he participated in something called Bloody Sunday. And that happened on the Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, where he led a march where they were beaten. He was literally clubbed across the head, knocked unconscious. And the reason for all of this is because they were fighting for our right to vote. And if you think about some of what our our ancestors went through just to ensure that we had the right to vote, we have an obligation, not only to them, but to ourselves, to exercise that right as often as we can, because it's so important. And I think that a lot of people understand the magnitude of a presidency vote, but I don't think we understand that our local elections touch us so much more than a presidential election. Those local councilmen and councilwomen affect so much about our everyday lives, from the streets and how well they're maintained, how we fund our schools, how we fund everything about our everyday lives. If you need a new community center, well, guess who's going to decide whether you get that community center in your community or if it goes down the road to a more affluent community? Your elected officials. And it's so much that goes into this thing. If you look at the school board, they not only decide the operations of the school board and they oversee what happens there, but they also appoint the superintendent. And we see now with what's going on in Georgetown how important it is to have the right people in these positions.
Well, let me stop you right there, since
Yes,
I
sir.
was going to talk about that later, but I'm going to put a pin in that right there, and I'm going to come back. And so what I want to talk about, for those of you who don't know, Georgetown is my home, and I hear a lot of things from a lot of people down there in Georgetown. And one of them that I hear is how we have the Caucasian superintendent who is there, and he's trying to force everybody out of the school system and administration that look like these three brothers on the screen. So, I want to talk about that. And I know that, man, Mr. Marvin, man, they know him by name and hate to see him coming. But I want to talk about that, because I hear so much, Mr. Neal, about people that look like you and I being forced out of the school system, and the board not doing anything about it, and so much happening, and the superintendent acting like as if, like we still back in the 50s, man, and doing what he want to do. So I want to just talk about that tonight. Not so much as the incident, but what are you guys doing about it from the branch standpoint to try to put a nail in the coffin of some of that mess?
Well, a lot of what we are doing, a lot of times, Pastor Mutri, you could fight and you could fight, but until those that the fight is affecting directly fight with you, it's a bigger challenge. And I think you have went through some of that yourself. We have every school board meeting, we have advocated for one thing or the other that's impactful, and really it boils down to a lack of due process in the process. Because when you say forcing people out or not allowing certain people to come in, and the thing is, you just have to raise so much hell, you know what I'm saying, and expose people. I mean, from the Department of Justice level on up, you have to bring them in. We bring in our state at the state level and stuff. We also bring in our legal redress from the NAACP National, just to talk about these things. We have had conversations and stuff just on Zoom, just talking about the impact of what's going down here in Georgetown. And this haven't just started. This started back when Dr. Lance was at Plantersville School. So he is just this guy now. He's just a new breed. He's just the grandkids of those that actually started the process. or the great grandkids. And it's like they're recruited into this area. When you have someone walk into a school district with a master's degree in supervising folks with just greater credentials, with doctorate degrees that look like us, it's a problem. And you have folks that look like us selected him to be the superintendent and think there's nothing wrong with it. And the question you have to ask is if it was us with the masters and then with the doctorate, how do you think that would happen? So, because we are too comfortable right now and stuff with I got mine and they could get theirs any way they can, but we are killing off and leaving the next generation. It's so impactful. It gets exhausting at times, and we have to continue to dig into the trenches, man. Every day I'm getting stuff from people in the school district, from some salary challenges, dealing with the consent decree challenge and stuff that was imposed. And the consent decree was imposed because of the same thing we're going through right now. That was in 1997. And we're still fighting under that same consent decree to keep it intact, just to keep a watchdog over it, because that's pretty much all you have to fight with. And other than that, lawsuits, individual lawsuits, you know what I'm saying? Until DOJ comes in and say this is enough, we have enough evidence to go ahead and do something about it. But and the thing is, when you have a school board that really don't understand the whole impact of what a consent decree is, and trying to get them to understand the impact of keeping that in place instead of taking it out. Because once that leaves, it's like losing section 5 or section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. You just grab meat there. You know what I'm saying? They'll start grinding you to death because there is no order then. It'll look like the insurrection again down here. And it's pretty close to that now. It's almost like God, man, sometimes it get overwhelming to the point where you just lose a loss for word for what blacks are really going through in there from day to day and stuff. And it's like keeping folks in there, knowing that they're doing wrong, even from the human resources level. When you point it out where the problem is when they lie right at the school board, when they're identifying positions, was whites then others. It's no blacks no longer. It's whites and others. And who's in the others? Everybody else. So it's just so much, man. So every school board meeting, we have to continue to just apply the pressure, man, and just continue to bring in the attorneys and whoever else file lawsuits, man. And that's the only way we can fight it. There's no other way to fight it. The other way to fight it, and I'll take that back, we have to vote. We have to vote. Voting caused us to be in the situation we're in right now. We have people that look like us on that school board right now that voted for this guy to come in. Voted for him to come in. When you had 2 black doctorates, actually 3, but the 2 was in the top 2. They slid him in somehow because it was 3. Another guy out of Aiken was there too, Sean. But a black female and black male, doctorate degree in the top 3, did not get selected. Did not get selected. And a hand that looked like ours was raised to bring him in here. Guy has no personality. Don't even talk to his own people that looks like him up there. Just walks around and just create havoc, man. Don't speak to some of the board members. And from what I understand, they gave him an excellent rating at the last board meeting. So how do you fight that? You being a past president, tell me, how do you think you could fight that? You're on mute.
It is hard to fight it. And I tell people this all the time. When you don't vote, you shut your own mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And when you shut your own mouth, I think Frederick Douglass said it right when he said to suppress the free speech is double wrong. He said it violates the right of the hearer and the speaker. So you violate your own speech and those who could hear you when you don't vote. So it's imperative and it's important to be able to vote and not just vote your cousin in, not just vote your homeboy in. Listen, as much as I like you as my homeboy and my cousin, that has nothing to do with the situation that's at hand. There is a difference between me letting you come over and cook on the grill when you can't cook. We can replace that pack of meat by going to the store and let somebody else cook after you burn it up. But are we willing to put the children and the community at stake? When I look at this, I'll say this. When I look at this, I came back home to start a church, had a nice building in the plaza, man. And because the city was not friendly to businesses, man, they gave me some crazy numbers of blueprints and everything that I needed. And here's the reality. It was not, it was, we don't want you here. We don't want you here. But the people who sat home, and when I think back of Donald, who fought, for the steel mill, for these people to continue to work, and people didn't get out and vote, played around and vote, and even worse than that, man, my heart go out to you, Mr. Marvin, because on top of not voting, those who still got the mindset of getting a barbecue sandwich in a flat can of beer. We're not even to talk about that. And they're leaders of the cloth who are preaching in the pulpit, teaching and telling these folks to go vote for these folks who are going to suppress them and keep their feet on their neck, man. And I tell people this, here's what I learned, and I'm going to let this get back to you. I have learned that we've been taught in the African-American community that education is important. And don't get me wrong, it is. Education is important. It has its place in the occupational world. But there is nothing like exposure. Hey. Exposure is far more important than education. And I think right now, man, the people should see exposure. I want to tell you this. This is how bad we're in trouble, and people don't even understand it. I was riding my motorcycle yesterday. Police stopped me to tell me that my tags was out. All right. He was really nice. Didn't give me a ticket, none of that. He was really nice to me. Went and paid the taxes, and then found out that the state is in so much turmoil, man. They don't even have paper to print a registration card. Wow. So you can drive around with this blue. I'll tell you, when the lady told me at the courthouse, I didn't want to take that. So I drove down to the DMV, and they explained to me that if you already got a tag, we're not giving you registration. It might be a month, 2 months, but don't worry. The police got a mandate. They can't stop you in South Carolina for bad tags. They got to stop you for something else. But people who are getting new cars, we can't give them another tag. So we'll give them we'll save the paper we got to give them the new registration. So that tells us that we're in trouble, Mr. Neal. We're in trouble, man. We can't even get a registration. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, and the thing is, that could be skin deep also. That could be the stutter. We definitely got to be careful with that also. But getting back to that vote, if just think about the last city election here. We had a young man that lost by 9 votes, won by 67 votes. Okay, 9 votes and 67 votes. That's how they lost the city. Because people did not come out to vote because, whatever reason, they just didn't come out. I mean, we knocked on doors. We kicked doors down, but they did not come out for that city election. But check this out. The presidential election, presidential year, Georgetown voted the highest in the state of South Carolina, highest ever in the state of South Carolina. So what is wrong with that picture? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. The vote has been alienated and pipped so long. People really don't even know what they're voting for half of the time. So education is the key to those that we're trying to get to come out to vote. And that's what we do. We educate them as we go to the doors. We put education in the hand material that they could read it. So these are the things that's going to hurt you. These are the things that's affecting the Black community. We don't tell them to vote Democrat or Republican, but we tell them one thing: this is what's affecting you. Bottom line. So you choose your candidate based on that. And if they ask the question, they'll get an answer. But we just can't continue to just vote just to say we voting for cousins and brothers and sisters and all of them that's running you straight into the ground. Democracy, everything just ran straight into the ground. You know, it just saddens me, man, when you sit back and you hear a young man or a young woman say, I don't have no reason to vote. They ain't doing nothing for me. That's not good, man. That tells you that we're in trouble. I've never heard that when my mother and father was going to the poll and I was walking with them hand in hand. They was telling me the reason why Dr. King went the way he did, the reason why JFK got killed, the reason why John Lewis got hit in the head going over the Edmund Pettus Bridge. That's what they was telling me. They was telling me this is the reason why you're voting. They was voting for a better day for us. But now we have the challenges of ourselves, Black people that look like us. They're sometimes our greatest challenges. To silence give consent. Silence give consent.
And a lot of Neil, that I found my biggest opposition were not the people who we didn't know. They were people who were in leadership, who were leading these churches, man, who were willing to sell their people out for $2 or $3.
That's exactly.
It doesn't really matter what the people get, long as they get enough money to buy them a car or enough money to get them a house. You know, crazy thing. I heard a leader say this last week, and it flowed me. He said, well, we don't want to move this senator out of the place because he has top seniority. And the fact that he has top seniority, you know, he gets to bring all the money over here to the county. And I asked him a question. I said, I hear what you're saying. And I agree. He's top seniority. He gets to bring the money to the county. But let me ask you one question. He brings the money to the county, but what does he bring to our city that is in the county? You know, what does he, how does he help the people that look like me and you? And when he brings the money to the county, is he giving the money to us, or is he bringing the money and giving it to them, to his homeboys, to his cousins? Is he giving them jobs and helping them get nonprofits where they can filter this money right back to him? You know, I said, so help me understand. And he got angry with me because I asked the question. And these are questions, Mr. Neal, I think that we who are leaders, those of us who, the Martin Luther King, where are they? Where are they? He led the people from the pulpit. People want to say, hey, man, you shouldn't do that in the pulpit. Well, where should you do that? If the church was not effective, Mr. Neal, then help me understand this. Why do the candidates come to the church? If we shouldn't talk about it, why do they come to the church?
Now, and the candidates could come to the church and talk about politics in your church, but you sitting with the biggest microphone, the pulpit, and you won't talk about it. So it tells you that something is going on before he even gets there. You know, I don't know if there's the church anniversary, the pastor appreciation, whatever else is going on there, but it's an individualized thing that's causing us to get pimped by these politicians that's walking through the doors of these churches. You know, information now in Georgetown, I push information out to the churches. Not only what's going on with the election, but what to say to your people. They get that information. They get it. You know, you walk into a forum now, say a candidates forum, and you see more people from outside of the community than what lives in the community that the candidate's going to affect.
Wow.
You know, we have some serious challenges, man. You know, and you can't throw your hand up. All you can do is just make sure your hand stretch a little further, because you have to reach somebody. that's going to reach somebody to get them through those doors so they'll get some understanding. And I'm talking about, I'm talking about, I'm gonna leave that one alone. But we really have work to do, and we're gonna continue knocking on doors, and we go into the least of these and knock on doors. We're not going to these folks, these affluent folks who want to tell you they know who to vote for and they got this. We want to go to those folks that's been pimped. You know what I'm saying? And now no longer can they turn in 100 or 200 absentee ballots. You can only turn in 5 now, and it has to be your family members. Those are the type of things that came out of us not voting. Not voting. Laws are changed based on who you put in that position. And that's from the top down. But politics, grassroots starts at the bottom. That's the strength of politics, starts at the bottom. You got to know how to vote and how it affects you as an individual. I don't care where it's coming from. The end spot is you. You're the ending point where everything ends at. The impact is you. From food, gasoline, schools, you name it, hospitals. Just look at the hospitals now. Hospitals being depleted out of the Black communities. None, because of lack of people not voting. Not voting. We had a whole maternity ward left Georgetown Hospital. We found out after it was gone. After it was gone. After it left the hospital, we found out about it. And guess what? Got Black people sitting on the board of trustees. Okay? That's what we're dealing with.
Well, you know, it's sad, man, when we take $2 or $3, sell our community out, man, and it's so disheartening. But I'm gonna let my guy over here with the sporty hat, like nobody else can wear. I'm gonna let him talk to us. But I will say this: I'm so glad, Mr. Neal, that, and I gotta say this on record before I give the mic to Dante. I remember I came back to Georgetown because I was concerned about the young people. I ran those streets. I sold drugs on those streets. I shot pistols on those streets. And so my story, everybody know my story, and I tell it everywhere I go. I didn't get saved on the morning bench. I got saved in 11 by 17 cell, you know. But here is the thing that was so troubling when I came to the city. Man, I'm just trying to save the community, because I always tell folks, if I could save one child, that's one child that might not shoot me, that might not rob me, that might not do something crazy to me. I seen the hand, my brothers, of the leaders in the city, the clergymen fighting me. They didn't want me to come. You know, they didn't want change. They didn't want change. And listen, I hadn't told you this, but they forced me out of the facilities where we were at. I'm not going to call the facility name, because the facility didn't do anything to me. It was the people who were in charge of the rental that did. You know, they forced me out. But I want to tell you, man, it was the best thing that ever happened, Mr. Neal, because they forced me out of that building right into a beautiful sanctuary in Maryville. I mean, a really nice sanctuary. So you just got to wonder, man, where people mindset is at, and how do we allow people to lead us in error? You know, we know it's error. We, you know, my baby know right from wrong. So, you know, but Mr. Dante, tell us what can we do, man, to get these young people out to vote? Because look like some of the older ones, I mean, some of them gonna change, but most of them, for the most part, they're who they are, man, and they're happy with who they are, and they're content. And you can't change them. So what can we do to try to help some of these young people?
Man, we got to think outside the box. And that's why we coming with things like this talent show, and we out there hitting the streets just talking to them, man. And I believe that more important than actually casting your ballot is to cast an informed ballot. So with that, we have to inform the voters. We have a forum Monday at 5:30 in the back boardroom. All who can be at that location, please attend. You need to know the platform of these people who are running for these offices. We're also working to set up forums in the rural communities. Browns Ferry, Plantersville knows. When we put those out, please, 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 if you can and you will, attend these things, because this is the only way that we will learn what these people have on their agendas. You got to know. And as the pastor said, you don't just vote because that's your cousin or that's your homeboy. You got to vote because that person is looking to move the community forward. And the only way to know that is to listen to what they got to say and to challenge them with what they say. And after whoever is elected gets into that thing, whoever is elected, we got to hold them accountable and hold them to exactly what they said they was going to do. If they don't do it, we got to hold their feet to the fire all day, every day.
I want to share something with you guys before we go, man, that I think that is, and this is not so much from our community, but it affects, it shows the people, man, exactly how people think as a whole. It shows us how we think as a whole, and it's just it's so I don't even know, man, the words. I'm kind of lost for words as to exactly how to even deal with it, how to, I just want to share this, man, let the people see the world that we're living in, because, man, we're living in a very, very crazy world, man, and people, they don't even, I was talking with someone, they didn't see this as a problem. I want you to see this, guys.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Francis Weller.
And I'm John Evans.
Every black that I know, you need to find him to start what he's saying.
Developments tonight, stemming from Columbus County Sheriff Jody Green's racist remarks made in a phone call and caught on tape.
Since the release of that audio, several people have questioned Green's ability to serve as sheriff. Tonight, WNCP
and here's the thing.
District Attorney John David is calling on Green.
This is the thing, brothers. Did you guys hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a white sheriff say, let every black officer go. And I was talking to someone today, and they said, oh, man, it was a joke. I said, a joke?
Ain't no joke.
What do you mean? It was a joke. One of his buddies, he was talking to his buddies. And his buddies released the tape. And you think it's a joke?
Either he thinks it's a joke, or he think we are so simple now that they can release information like that and nothing will happen to him. That's the comfort zone that we're in right now. And if someone don't do something about it, and really that's what's happening everywhere, even in Georgetown. They might as well say it. Let the black cops go, because we deal with that right now. But you know the biggest challenge we have, Pastor Mutri?
What's that?
Folks will not open their mouth. They will not come together for unions or anything of that nature. They will keep their mouth closed and watch everybody walk up their door, and they'll be the last one that get the boot put in their tail and wish they have done something different. If you remember, JJ, teachers, employees were being relieved from their jobs back in the days if they were known to be an NAACP members.
That's right.
Now you got folks on the job who try to keep quiet that they're an NAACP member.
Jesus.
It's like we have came nowhere. The job, they have got so comfortable on the job, they can watch it go wrong and say, I'm not just going to say nothing. Or they'll call me and say, please, Mr. Neal, don't say nothing about it. So I said, well, why are you calling me? And the one that has the strength to talk about it, they alienate them. Even in the organizations that they're in, they alienate them. They disappear from around them. I could walk into certain forums. Now, if I walk around certain people, according to who the headmaster is in there that night, or who was wearing the hood that night, and they walk through that door and that's their boss, man, you think somebody drop a time bomb, man, and a bunch of roaches just scatter off. You ever turn the light on when roaches in the place and rats?
Yeah.
That's the way it looks. And these folks are professional employees that's afraid, even the one that's retired, afraid to open their mouth. They're afraid to open their mouth. That's why a lot of times folks say, man, I see you keep going back. Where are those other folks? I said, man, you need to ask those folks where they are. I'm tired of asking them.
Man.
And that's how we are going down the drain, man. It's a battle, but we got to keep fighting it. Eventually, the younger generation is going to catch on, and they're just not going to tolerate. They're not tolerating it. And I think you know that. You know that.
Well, I'm wondering.
Because I know, and I know we have dealt with some situations lately that, hey, you know who some more of them are, and they ain't tolerating it. They ain't hearing it.
This generation is not going to do it, and people don't understand. I'm one of them.
Hey.
I'm one of the generations is not going to do it. I'm not going to put up with it because I don't have to. Plain and simple. I don't have to, and I'm not going to expose myself to it. But well, guys, what else is on your mind tonight? This Friday night, we can talk.
Hey, man. We got a huge conference tomorrow. And I'm gonna let Deontay present at that conference also. He's gonna be wearing the big hat too. I know that because he got a big head, man. People wonder why he wear that big hat. He got a big head, man. You got to cover that head up, man. But now he does a great job. And I think you know that, Pastor Mooch. He does a great job. I got a great cast I'm working with down here. They just awesome, right off the chain. I can have a better group of folks working with me in this Georgetown branch, man. And we have climbed mountains, man, and dig valleys. You know what I'm saying? But bro, we are moving forward. And believe me, I'm getting out of the way before one of them run me over in these positions. I'm not the one to sit in a position, brother, for so long. You can't grow like that. That's how things die.
Say amen.
That's how it died, brother.
Hear you.
I don't sit in no position, brother. I said after my season is over, I know. Because them younger brothers and sisters like Deontay and Ebony and Marilyn and those, they be knocking on my door. Tap, tap, tap. Move on over, old man. We got you. We need advice. We'll talk to you. They do that now, man. I don't get mad, man. I tell them, I'm out of your way. Call me if you need me. But they know what to do. They know what to do. We just got to get out of the way and let them do what they need to do. Because that's the door opener. You got to let these younger folks bring the next generation on because it's their generation that they're working. It's not ours.
I think we have to find new ways to do old things.
Yeah, you hit it on the head, brother.
That's our slogan for the church, man. Finding new ways. I showed them in church one Sunday. I allow my male choir to sing a song in one key, the young people in another key, the females in another key, and the congregation in another key. And when all five of them sung that song, you realize it was still the same song. And it created the same purpose. But then I also, it's the same song, it's the same purpose. And so we have to understand, man, that we got to figure out new ways to do old things. We're losing this generation. And part of the reason why, I can only talk from my experience, man.
Yeah.
When I came from the penitentiary, if I dealt with church folks, I would have been right back in my comfort zone doing what I wanted to do because, man, the church didn't embrace me. They didn't want me. They didn't want anything to do with me. In fact, I always tell this story. Now, when I was out there selling crack and chasing the women, it was the church folks that came on the corner and they got their homecoming money because they wanted to be Miss Homecoming. They wanted to, and they was all right with that. But the moment I got saved and wanted to change my life, they didn't want anything to do with me. They didn't embrace that. And this is a generation that I'm telling you, and I tell folks this generation is the generation that will say, come hell or high water. You know, you can say come hell or high water, this is your church, but this young generation will say, the hell would you at the church? And they'll leave right there at the church and they'll go. And we can't understand why we're losing this generation, because I tell people all the time, we say the quote, it take a village to raise a child. Well, let me ask you a question. If it take a village to raise the child, who gonna raise the village? If everybody in the church acting crazy, if everybody's selling themselves out to the people for $2 or $3, you know, a flat can of beer and a barbecue sandwich, who's going to raise the people? And this is why the people are gone, man. I mean, we should have every leader. Hey, I'll tell you this. I wish I had you as the president of NAACP in my city. I would be at every meeting, man. I would be there. You know, but you know what happened? When you start taking $2 or $3 from people, you have to do what they say do. You have to be a yes, sir. You have to be a yes, man. Listen, I pastor the church and I tell them this. I remind my church, even when they get crazy, I said, wait a minute now. I was driving a Mercedes when I came in. And I'm going to be driving one when I leave. I'm just going to get a new one. Now, I'm not going to compromise. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to compromise to allow you to do what you want to do, to say what you want to say. And you know, I'll say this, and I'm going to let Dante talk. Here's the thing. This is why I got the newspaper. This is why I got a platform that we can create our own voice. We don't have to keep riding into the back of the bus. We've moved from the back of the bus, man. We owning the bus now. So if we move from the back and we own the bus, why won't we go in the hood and pick the people up and get them to the pole?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't get them to the pole because Master said, don't bring them. Master said, listen now, you know you're trying to build a house. You know you're trying to build this family life center. And I'm going to give you, hey, I got the right thing here, these things. I'm going to give you one of these. And if you do the right thing, you're gonna get one of these. You want that check? You want that check now? Don't you bring them to the poll. Keep these young people suppressed. You know, it's kind of like I remember Martin Luther King went down the Buttermilk Bottom and he told those trash can workers, he said, I got something better for you. They said, listen, we've been down so long, we don't even know how I feel to get up. We are right with where we at. Let us stay where we at. We don't want to move. And so some folks, what I've come to realize, Mr. Marvin, I'm telling you, you know how many people told me, boy, you know them white folk ain't gonna let you get a news channel. I said, what do you mean? I got money like them. I can buy a newspaper like them. I can buy a channel like them. What do you mean they ain't gonna let me? Let me? You already talking around. You know? So, but anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead, man.
But hey, Pastor Mutri, I got Marilyn Hemingway here. She want to say a word about her environmental conference tomorrow. I'm at the Gullah Geechee Museum in Georgetown, the Black Gullah Geechee Museum in Georgetown. Okay. The real Gullah Geechee Museum in Georgetown.
The real Gullah Geechee.
The real Gullah.
Miss Marilyn, I feel honored to be on the other side, to be the host and not Marilyn hosting us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Good to be here. Pastor Mutri. Hello, Mr. Deontay Winchester. I'm going to make this quick. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. is the Gullah Geechee Environmental and Energy Conference in Georgetown at the Howard Center, 1610 Hawkins Street. We're going to be talking about cultural environmental issues. The Maryville neighborhood is going to talk about their work in restoring their wetlands. We're going to talk about the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. We're going to talk about climate change and how it impacts our community. And we're going to talk about Black farmers and community gardens. That's just some of the stuff we're going to talk about, because we have got to get a handle on these environmental issues. As I like to say, on behalf of my organization, the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce, environmental justice leads to economic justice. If our environment is not healthy, we are not healthy as a people, our communities are not healthy, and our businesses are not healthy. It's that real. It's that real. And every day there's something new that shows us if we don't get our act together and protect the environment, nature that provides us the sustenance, the food, and the mental health that takes care of us, we are doomed. And so that's the work that we're doing, and we hope everybody will come out tomorrow at the Howard Center, 1610 Hawkins Street, at the Gullah Geechee Environmental and Energy Conference. And thank you for giving me this time to mention that.
Tell me this, Ms.
Bad
Mel.
news. All right.
How can they get in touch with you? Just in case.
If they go to eventbrite.com, they can register tonight, or they can call me at 843-318-8644. That's 843-318-8644. And registration opens tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. So on-site registration, 8:30 a.m. The first 50 people to register in person and to be there all day will get gas cards, $25 gas cards. And we have a complimentary Taste of Gullah lunch with keynote speaker Reverend Leo Woodbury of the New Alpha CDC. And yeah, so if y'all come on out, we're trying to lower the barriers to getting knowledge. So if you need to eat, come on out and eat. And it's free. It's not going to cost you anything.
Okay. Okay.
Very good. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
And here's Mr. Neal.
All right. So, Mr. Neal, Dante,
that wasn't me now. That was Maryland. I don't have no here, so that's definitely wasn't me.
Yeah. So I'm going to let you guys finish up, and then we're going to slide on up out of here, man.
Well, I'm going to let Deontay say a word. And, hey, we're good, man, because we got an 8 o'clock. Anyhow, we got to jump on and stuff and put something else together for tomorrow. But, hey, Pastor Mitchell, I appreciate you bringing us on. We got to get together again soon. You know, I've been slacking stuff, man. Just tied up with redistricting and stuff. Really, we just closed out today in Charleston at the federal court. So we be latching in. I'll be returning your phone calls and stuff. I told Deontay, just tell him I'm going to reach him. Yeah.
I just want to remind everyone of the talent show on October 29th, 6 p.m. at the Howard Center. If you need more information or if you want to register, you can do so with our sign-up Google form. But give us a call at 843-790-4075.
So
790-4075.
Tell them one more time, man. How much money can they win? Because I'm jealous.
Man, look, $500 for top prize. $500. I know.
And what they have to do? What they got to do to get that 500?
Anything, whatever talent you got. If you want to come and sing, you want to come and dance, you want to tell a joke, whatever you got to entertain the crowd. If you think you got some talent, come on and bring it. $500 first place, $200 second place, $100 third place. If you can use that money, come on through.
And what is the age again?
17 to 40.
17 to 40. But I'm gonna get in my time capsule and I'll be there.
And as I always say, before we close, I love you all. Continue to love yourselves.
All right. Well, thank you so much. There you have it. Fab News. We're glad to have again Georgetown NAACP with us. And again, I thank you guys so much for taking time on a Friday night to be with us. We appreciate you, and we'll be in touch soon.
Hey, thanks a lot, brother.
Thank you.